On this episode of Base Hunters, we are digging deep into Halloween Ends. Definitely stick around. All right, what's going on, home theater fans and fellow baseheads? My name is Todd Anderson with Nirvana, and welcome to Base Hunters episode number 12. It has been so long since our last episode. That was Violent Night. Hope you guys checked that one out. I know you've been waiting for this one. I've received quite a few nice messages from folks asking what's going on. So here's what's happening. We are lucky enough to have a second sponsor on board with the show. It is Ascendo, along with their North American distributor, Sutherland AV. And they are bringing an infrasonic subwoofer into the fold. It's their SMS G32. It's a 350-pound sub that can play down to 7 hertz. That 32 means 32-inch driver. This thing is a total beast. Now, to get it here, it has to come from Europe. And there have been some issues getting this from Europe over into the United States and down into my home theater room. But we have all those issues ironed out. It is in fact due to be delivered in just a couple days. But I hit pause because the movie that we're talking about today, Halloween Ends, definitely could have used a closer inspection with the SMS G32 involved, but just wasn't to be. And I kind of hit pause, and we were hoping that it was going to be here, and there were just a lot of delays along the way. Nobody's fault. This is just kind of the nature of the beast. And so here we are. It's going to take a little bit of time to get the G32 integrated into my room. Matt Trinkline over at Storm Audio is going to help me with the integration. And of course, all of this is coming together nicely because the new Dirac Active room treatment is now available. So that is going to be brought into the fold. Also layered in there with the bass control module and of course Dirac Live. So all kinds of exciting stuff going on there. And of course, we still have our awesome founding partners at Kaleidescape. They're the ones that provided this particular film for us to evaluate. From everything that I've heard, the track that I have access to through Kaleidescape mirrors what's out there on the disc, which necessitates just a little bit of a heads up warning. Please be careful with your equipment when you're watching this film. If you have subs that are undersized for your room and you like to run them hot to compensate for that, and they have a tendency to bottom out a little bit, or if you get a lot of port chuffing, just be careful, because this movie, the bass track is super red hot. It is going to push your speakers, and some of you out there could find yourself in a situation where you damage the driver, or you could potentially burn out an amp. So just a word to the wise there. Be careful if you give this movie a spin, particularly the scenes that we're going to be talking about in this video. So let's jump right into the scorecard here. And there you can see what I'm giving this film. So C+. Really, this is a film that I say what could have been. It could have been the birth of a new murder-loving, deranged character, and they were so close to pulling that off. I get it. This whole franchise is about Michael Myers, but I think this would have been a prime opportunity for a handoff to a new character, and this movie could have been an all-time classic. Instead, it kind of fell back into that C range for me. If you're a Halloween fan like I am, it's definitely a must-see, but I don't think this is a movie that I'm going to be revisiting ever again. Excellent overall image, lots of detail and dark, shadowy scenes. Not groundbreaking from any perspective, but really nothing here to complain about. It's very nice video quality, particularly on the 4K HDR version that I have access to. It just looked really beautiful on the Kaleidescape system. So it gets audio-wise. This one is a B. Lots of wonderful ambient effects that wrap scenes around you. Dialogue is clear and concise. Overall, a really great presentation. You might be asking, okay, so why a B? And unfortunately, this one gets a B because it's getting weighed down a little bit by the low frequency effects, that bass presentation, which you can see right there. This one gets a D. So if you've heard this movie is bass heavy, it absolutely is bass heavy. Unfortunately, it's too bass heavy. This one is overcooked to the point that it's just straight up distracting. It almost makes me wonder if there was a mistake in the mastering process on the audio side, because it starts off in the right direction. We're going to get to that in the first scene that we look at tonight. So I think it starts off in a really good direction, and then it just goes crazy to the point where the bass is so overcooked and so in your face that it just detracts from the overall feel and the mood of the movie. You know, I kind of understand what they were going for, just the raw power of evil that they're trying to deliver to you. But yeah, it's just kind of a miss for me. So let's jump right in to our very first scene. You can see there, this is labeled BH1 in the Kaleidescape script file. So all you Kscape owners out there, you can download the script file that is linked down in the description, and you can watch these scenes exactly as I'm showing them here. But this scene starts off at the around the 8-minute mark. Actually, just really a fantastic opening to this film, both from a visual perspective and an audio perspective. And I think this is one of the few moments in the film where bass is delivered both in a robust and nuanced manner. Okay, so creepy. What a fantastic beginning to this film. It's just a wonderful bass presentation, but also everything that's happening just really lays the groundwork for what could be a great experience. And I just realized right now, the little boy who is on the other side of the door from Corey Cunningham, and he's banging on the door, he's asking him, "Are you scared?" and all this stuff. That totally reminds me of that creepy Pink Floyd song called One of My Turns. It's on the wall. Has a little boy who's in an apartment talking to somebody. There's like a TV playing. So check it out. I think that's one of the things about that beginning that just gets under my skin. But anyway, very cool beginning to the movie, and the bass really sets the stage here. Let's take a peek at a couple snapshots from within that clip that we just saw. So first off here, this is about a minute 46 in, and just a great example of this delicious feast of bass outside of just some brutal decibels. You can see right here the red. Remember, over here is our measurement of decibels. And just as a quick reminder, Over here we have frequency, and down here, so this is 60 hertz. You can see right there, that's 27. So 20 is right in there. We have a lot of infrasonics going on around in here. We also have these long drawn out pulses of bass. You can see it right there. Here's some layered bass on top. Here's another pulse right there. And man, those sound really good. And they're delicate enough right there, not too distracting. We also have some little mini bass drops. It almost looks like smears. You can see them through here, right in there. And then these pulses of bass that shoot down. They're pretty instantaneous. This particular scene just has it all, and it just quite excellent stuff. So let's skip ahead here to another portion of this clip. Yeah, here's where a sense of terror and anger really begin to collide, and that LFE is insanely punishing. And you can see right here, we have some really, really loud levels of bass. They're all peppered in. This is 20 hertz right here. So very powerful. Look at that right in there. But we also have bass that's existing right up in the 60 hertz range right here. There's just so much going on. And then you can see why I was kind of hanging around waiting for that Ascendo SMS G32 to come in. We have infrasonics. Lots of stuff going on in here. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out with the proper equipment. And as this scene progresses, you can see the Halloween theme starts there. This is kind of our first taste of bass that just to me felt a bit out of place. Perhaps just a bit too hot for the rest of the track that's happening there at the moment. And as we move forward here, you can start to see some more of these, I hesitate to call them drones of bass, but it's exactly what's happening right here. These pulses of bass that kind of drag out, and it's just to the point of where it gets to be a little uncomfortable. Not a real big fan of that kind of presentation. Get rid of that. You can see it right there. Just kind of uncomfortable, doesn't feel natural, and that happens a lot throughout the rest of the movie. Once you see this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I could sit here and show you countless examples of overcooked and distracting bass, but we're only going to stick with two. These are fairly representative of what you're going to experience throughout the rest of the movie. So let's move on to our next scene, which is Bass Hunters number 2. And this one takes place at the 11-minute, 22-second mark. You can see right there. And this one is just insanely brutal. Check it out.
Michael Myers was pure evil. He took our dreams and turned them into nightmares. As he was locked away in his prison, I disappeared into mine. And then, as I predicted, 40 years later, he escaped. And Haddonfield was once again forced to confront this man in a mask. His senseless brutality ravaged my community and killed my daughter.
And let's pause it right there, folks. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. You can see there we have insane levels of bass right in the 30 hertz and 20 hertz range, with so much going on down below 20 hertz and lots happening all the way up to 60 hertz. Just brutal, brutal, brutal bass. It's not that often that you see bass that intense in the 20 hertz and below territory. And in this case, it's just too much for the ears and senses to take in. Okay, so on to our very next script file. This is Bass Hunters 5, and I'm going to show you the beginning of this particular clip where we're hit with some really brutal bass, and then move ahead because things get really hot and heavy, and you're going to see these long extended just drones of bass that are hitched to this scene, and it's just some crazy stuff. So check it out. Wow, that is some powerful stuff. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you on this episode of Bass Hunters. If you'd like to track me down, you can find me on Twitter. My handle there is @AVWoofer. And of course, you can always find me on the forum over at avnirvana.com. My username there is my name. That's Todd Anderson. We'll see you soon.